Hi, I'm Ruth Childs. Many of you already know me that I work very successfully with resolving focal dystonia and have done for a large number of years. And that I wanted to record these educational videos around my experience and theory around where focal dystonia comes from, what the causes are, and from there how to resolve it. Above all, to give you hope that this disorder is, I don't even want to call it a disorder, that's why I'm pausing. I really don't like to even call it that. These symptoms that you're experiencing are completely resolvable. And that it's not coming from the physical body, it's coming from the state that your autonomic nervous system is in, and the activation of your autonomic nervous system and how that spills over into the body. Now, I've talked about that in some of the other videos, so please do take a look at them. If you're watching this on Facebook, you can find the other videos in my YouTube channel or on my website, and the link to that is here on the Facebook page. Okay. So today, what I wanted to follow on from the last couple of videos that I've been talking about, where I wanted to talk about the effect of early attachment on our autonomic nervous system. So I've talked in the previous videos about the importance of attunement. So one of our most basic survival needs when we're babies and small children is that our care figure is attuned to us, which means that they feel what's going on for us. Now, there's a really important aspect of attunement, which is that there is no judgment to that. There is just acceptance to it, meaning that as my carer attunes to me, my mother, my father, or whoever it is that's taking care of me, as they attune to me, what they're doing is they're attuning in a way that what's going on for me, what I'm feeling, the way I am, they accept that just the way it is, because they're just feeling into that without it needing to be any different. Now, what's really interesting is that the experience that we have as a young child of that attunement is validation. So as that person attunes to me, I feel validated as a human being. What's important to know is that when that doesn't happen, so when our caring figure treats us as being wrong, which has often happened to us, like we should be quieter, we shouldn't be so boisterous, we should be more outgoing, eat up better, we shouldn't be upset about something. Come on, get on, get up, get on with it. It was nothing, you just fell over. Don't be a crybaby. Whatever that might be, or just simply that they are so absorbed with their own difficulties and their own challenges that are going on that they're unable just to feel into us and just accept us as the way we are. When that happens, we actually have a sense of just not being good enough. We have this deep sense of that if I was different, then they would be attuned to me. So we start to get this really, really deeply, often unconscious, and sometimes even later on in life we're not aware of it, this very deep ingrained sense of I should be different. If I was different, then they would be attuned to me. They're not attuned to me because of something innately wrong in myself. And this sense of rejection, this sense of not good enough. What does that mean then for us as musicians and in a relationship to our music and to our instrument? That sets us on a path that one of the underlying movements that starts to become involved in our music and our performances is the search for validation. So it's almost like that very early part of ourselves is looking to repair or is looking to fill the hole that was left of never feeling validated. And we do it often by becoming less authentic, in what we're doing by fear of mistakes, just the fear of not being ourselves. Because if I don't feel that I'm enough, I have to work harder, try harder, be better. My sound needs to be better. My sound needs to be different. I should play in a certain way. And it's almost like it's very difficult for us just to drop into this deep place of authenticity, and for that just to be enough. And for just the way that we play, the skill level that we have on the instrument is just enough. And we don't need to try hard. We can just allow that to develop within ourselves. We can allow our technique to develop over time. So it's very different putting hours of practice in from this place of needing to be better than putting hours of practice in from a place of joy and playfulness and just loving being in connection with music. And so if we then go back to that premise, what's happening there is our nervous system is our autonomic nervous system is activated. And we start to be in this constant kind of circle of activation of the autonomic nervous system as we are playing and as we are practicing, because we have this sense of needing to be more, needing to be better all of the time, needing to try harder. Often we actually even begin to distort what we hear when we hear ourselves. It's like we become overcritical. We hear faults that aren't there, or our sound doesn't sound good enough, doesn't sound as good as other people sound. And often that is a distortion. Often it really is good enough. And that again is activating the nervous system. So part of our solution to focal dystonia is going deep into the part of the brain where that lack of attunement happened, and learning to become attuned to ourselves. So that's about being with myself exactly as I am, and in self-acceptance, with my strengths and with my weaknesses, with what I do well and with what I don't do well, and just being able to accept that. It's almost about allowing ourselves just to feel completely relaxed and at peace, and almost joyful, and even joyful and celebrative of the mistakes that we make. So it's about being attuned to myself, which is about accepting myself just the way I am. And then being around other people who can attune to us. And certainly in this therapeutic relationship, the therapeutic relationship around resolving the focal dystonia, to be in a place where the therapist who's working with you is in 100% attuned space with you, and in acceptance of you where you are on your process right now, and just feeling into that attunement, feeling into that deep sense of being understood and being felt just the way you are. So that's a really key part of the process. I've talked in other videos about flow states. So one of the key flow states that I show my clients how to get into and then how to strengthen is a deep state of attunement, that deep state of feeling valid and authentic just the way you are. And through that then being able to deactivate any of the other capsules that are in the brain, where there is a sense of not being enough or needing to try harder, where the activation of the nervous system is, and working on that dual process, as I've often talked about in other videos. So I hope this has been useful for you, and you can relate to what I'm saying. I mean, it's certainly been so much of my own personal experience in life in general. Actually, this goes beyond music. If we're looking for validation as musicians, we're probably looking for validation in many other aspects of our lives. So certainly the process that I went through as a musician and as a person, and I really recognised as being such a underlying cause of not just the focal embouchure dystonia that I suffered from, but also the other performance blocks that were there for me. Because it wasn't just this. I had several other performance blocks that were there, and so I hope that you can relate to this as well, because I think not everybody has had this experience, but for many of us this is a really, really true experience. So as always, I wish you joy in your music, joy in coming back to your music, and joy in the music that you will share and you are sharing and will continue to share and will share more in the future with other people. Thank you for listening.